Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Hess. I'm the innovation champion for Bepensa Beverages, and I also take care of all prescriptive and predictive data analysis as a manager. Today, I'll be talking a little bit more about blending tradition with transformation and how in Bepensa we're evolving in the age of AI. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be part of this exclusive event. I hope we can get to meet each other a little bit more through the event, and tell you a little bit more about our story, how we are transforming this company and trying to see into the future. Now, before we start, I'll try to I'll start with a small story. I'm sure everybody is familiar with our brand, but I'm going to tell you that back in 1823, there was a poem called A Visit from St. Nicholas. It was written by Clement Clark Moore, and it was the first image or representation we had from Santa Claus. It was actually represented by a stern bishop or a tiny elf back in 1823. About 100 years after that, back in 1920s, Coca-Cola was going an extraordinary year with our summer sales. We had an amazing brand already, an amazing product, and actually we wanted to boost our sales through the winter. So we had this initiative on trying to create this advertising campaign on how could we boost our sales through the winter. And after many participants and many ideas and many analysis, there was this guy called Haron Sundblom. Aaron Sundblom was the first person to actually um, paint a rosy cheek life-size Santa Claus in a vibrant red suit for this winter advertising campaign with Coca-Cola. It was actually inspired by a retired salesman from the Coca-Cola company called Lou Prentice. I couldn't find a picture of Lou Prentice, but I think it would have been really cool to have a picture of the original Santa Claus back from the 1920s. I'm not saying that Santa Claus was kind of inspired in our brand, but I do think we did an amazing job back in the 1920s as we do today, in order to align those special moments you can have on Christmas and you can have while enjoying one of our products. So before we go into the whole thing about Coca-Cola, I'll tell a little bit more about Bepensa. Bepensa, it's a Mexican company. It's based in Mérida, Yucatan. It's a family-owned business which started over 75 years ago. We've got 5 different divisions, in which the first one is Bepensa Beverages or Bepensa Bebidas, which is the Coca Cola bottler in the southeast of Mexico and Dominican Republic. We are one of the 3 main bottlers in Mexico and one of the most important bottlers in Latin America. Also, we've got Bepensa Capital, Bepensa Industrial, Bepensa Motriz, and Bepensa Spirits. At the moment, we have operations in the US, the whole Republic of Mexico, and Dominican Republic between all of our different divisions. Bepensa, it's a very traditional company. We've been here for a while now, and we've been pretty successful in the last 75 years, the way we've done things. So it's really an amazing story to have a local company from Mérida, Yucatan, having such a big impact in the world. Focusing a little bit more on the beverage side, on the Coca-Cola bottler division, we've got one simple purpose, and it's to have clientes felices en un mundo mejor, which basically translates to have happy customers in a better world. Everything we do, everything we develop, every decision we make is based on our customers, and it's based on our people. Everything we do, we execute, and everything we try to perform in the company, it's so you can enjoy one of our products. And I hope everybody's flavoring one of the like a really ice cold Coca-Cola at the moment. Now, Bepensa is a big company. We employ over 14,000 people in our different territories, which all of them have a different story to tell. They have different backgrounds. They have different ideas. They have different capabilities. They have different age. And we try to recognize each one of those stories. Now, each one of the stories of our employees are really significant for us and really important for the company. We have stories that create a bigger impact in the company. As we see here, we have bigger bubbles than the other ones of CO2, And we have stories that are a little bit smaller at the moment, but they tend to go bigger and grow bigger and bigger in time as they develop themselves in the company. The important thing here is that we recognize the story of each one of our employees in the company, because we know that the combination and the sum of all of our stories are what makes our company successful and what makes our company thrive. Now, it's important to give the importance to each one of these stories independently of the impact they have in the company at the moment, because we know that changes over time. And as we see in a Coca-Cola product, once you open it, the CO2 comes and explodes out. That's the same way we realize or we relate to the stories of our employees. Now, everything we do is for you guys to be able to enjoy one of our products at the specific moment, time, space, day of the year moment you'd like to have one of our products. That's the perfect temperature, the perfect package, the perfect price point. So you guys can have that special moment with one of our brands. Now, we've been pretty successful for the last 135 years. We've done the things a certain way over the last 135 years in the Coca-Cola system. We've made tons of decisions. We've grown to every single country in the world. And in Bepensa as well, we've done things a certain way based on a lot of gut feeling, based on a lot of experience, based on a lot of different crises we've been through and learnings we've had through our journey. Now, we're reaching a point in time in which we are forced to rebalance our core and our innovation in the company in a certain way that we don't want to take away all the expertise and know-how we already have from our employees, but at the same time, we want to rebalance it a little bit more with innovation. And we face this huge challenge on doing things the old way or doing things the new way. And how can I combine these two different moments in time to be able to thrive in a company like Bepensa? Because we know the future is going to be seen from a different perspective. We know the new generations, we know the new workforce that's coming into our companies are seeing the world with different eyes and a different perspective of our products, of our companies, of our markets, and our industries. Now, before we move on, I'd like to tell you a story about Mike. Mike is an amazing seasoned employee with lots of experience and know-how in Bepensa. He's a really good friend of mine. We work together every day, and he's been in the company for over 31 years now. So I would like you to meet Mike, which is back in Merida at the moment. Now, Mike joined the company back in 1993 as generating pre-sale invoices and credit notes. Then he moved a little bit to route settlement planning in 1995. In 1996, he became a distribution center manager. Then he jumped to cooler execution and strategy. 2001, he started overseeing all the financial relationship with the Coca-Cola company. Then he moved to sales, and he started as a sales data analysis manager. Then he jumped all the way hired to a regional sales manager, which is one of our top positions on sales in Bepensa. And after 2021, he moved to the data side of the company. And he's now our business intelligence manager, which actually translates to the truth. The only number that matters on our reports, on our KPIs, it's the number that Mike's team reports on our different dashboards, okay? Now, without looking into data, Mike knows the impact that a sunny day can have in our company and in our sales. Mike knows the impact of the impact we can have of a rainy day. Mike knows the impact we have in a population growth dimension in our territories. He's been here for 31 years already, so he knows how our population is growing on different areas or different territories that we can service our products. He knows really, really well how our warehouses operate, how our production plants operate, which are our pain points, which are our advantages, which one are our hot fixes we can do from day to day. And also he knows how the housing development and real estate development has been growing in our territory. So he's got a lot of data, right? And everything he knows and everything he's done in the company is for you to again have this amazing product in front of you at the exact time, at the exact moment. Now, that's a lot of data. That's really relevant for a company, and it's really valuable that we take it into consideration for the future of the company. Now, I'm sorry. Now, there's a new part of the company joining in. We have this tech-savvy part of the team that's based on innovation, Gen AI, machine learning, business intelligence, and these new generations that are all focused on data. We have so much more data available. And we've got platforms like Dataiku that help us on a very, very efficient way how to process this data, how to understand this data. So how do we balance, again, that old way that seasoned employees with tons of experience with all this data analysis we've been getting in the company now. So I'll tell a little bit more about a couple of specific projects, not about the technical side of the projects, but a little bit more about how did we combine the experience of our teams with the data and the models we were developing with our data scientists and the data part of the team. The first one, it's a cooler and Capex optimization business case. So basically, in our territories in Latin America, we have in Mexico we have over 120,000 clients at the moment, and these clients, on a big majority, are small stores that our clients actually sell products out of their homes, out of small warehouses, out of small locations, and we actually borrow the coolers to these stores so they can actually get the product cold, and then our sellout will increase at a certain percentage if you have a colder product than a product that it's not in the fridge, right? So we borrow these coolers. These coolers are still on our Capex, they're still on our balance, they're still in our inventory. So how do we take care? How do we maximize the performance of the coolers, right? We need to execute these coolers the best we can. We need to redistribute the coolers the best we can. It's a very limited resource. And how do we maximize the coolers? So we developed a model through Dataiku in which we could actually analyze the impact or the potential growth our customers were going to have, or our clients were going to have, combining tons of variables and external and internal variables in our business, so we can actually predict which outlets will have a better performance out of the coolers, which outlets will have the best benefit or the bigger benefit out of having a cooler before time. Now, our industry is pretty reactive. So the industry, the way it works, it's just a customer is born, like a client is born. It starts growing. Once they reach a certain volume, then you give them a cooler. They keep on increasing their volume. You give them the next cooler, but it's kind of a linear growth, right? So through Dataiku, we started creating this ML model in which we wanted to predict to which outlets should I give the cooler and at what moment in time specifically in order to boost their sales exponentially, instead of waiting for the industry standards for them to receive a cooler once they already created that organic growth. Now, this was a huge change because we didn't only became prescriptive instead of reactive in the industry, but we are one step ahead of our competitors because we always fight for the space inside these small stores. Now, getting first position, getting there first, and having the cooler before the rest of our competitors, it's a huge impact in our sales. We could have done that if we didn't understood deeply how the commercial relationship was between our sales person and the outlet, correct? So we try to experience and we try to take advantage of all the knowledge that our seasoned employees had in order to adapt the model to see how we could redistribute the coolers inside the same routes, inside the same territories. So it was a successful project. Now, the next project we did is we created a hyper segmentation analysis. Basically, we managed to measure the elasticity in each one of our outlets or each one of our clients per each one of our SKUs. So that's around 120,000 outlets and around 450 different SKUs. And we managed to calculate the elasticity per each one of these combinations through Dataiku. And with that analysis, we started creating strategies in order to grow our market share. How can we increase our market share, right? With specific discounts. Now, at first, the data was amazing, right? If you give this discount to this person at this moment in time, then you'll get a better performance on your promotions. But actually, the industry and our business didn't work that way. We needed to take some time. We needed to understand that there were stores that were owned by the same person. And if I was selling at a discounted price on each one of the stores, maybe he would just consolidate the orders from each one of the stores on the same product and take advantage. So the idea was to collaborate with our seasoned employees to understand what's the specific time phase in which we can execute promotions, discounts, how can we analyze and behave and train our models in order to have a better understanding of the market and being able to have successful projects, right? At the end, we managed to do this on an outlet level, and our market share strategies were very much more successful than they were before through our models in Dataiku. Now, we've got tons of learnings and opportunities and journey on this journey. It's a never-ending journey. We like to see it that way. And we created a innovation committee inside the company, which has a simple and specific purpose inside the company, which is to cultivate and promote a culture of innovation that contributes to the evolution and transcendence of the group as one single Bepensa. We actually want to create a culture of innovation more than just have innovative projects, right? We want to have a group of employees, 14,000 people, just thinking of how can they innovate inside the company to transform the company faster and in the right direction. So in order to do that, we needed to establish our limits, right? Which court are we playing in? Which are Hunger Games, right? So we needed to decide where can we innovate in each one of our divisions, where do we want to innovate in each one of the divisions, and where that strategy got together, it's where innovation is happening on each one of our divisions, right? It's really important to understand where you're standing at the moment, and then from that on, move on forward in order to create an innovation journey. Our innovation journey, it's based and it's very influenced by artificial intelligence, of course. But the first thing we had to do is to diagnose where we're standing. Where were we standing around a year ago? Okay, does everybody feels like they're in a company that it's in constant innovation? Does everybody feels we're innovating through a necessity because we don't have enough time in our day to finish our tasks, or are we innovating on a planned way? So we did a huge diagnose of how the company is innovating at the moment. We learned then how to innovate. We went through a lot of workshops, and we started creating this culture of innovation through learnings. And then we amplified that innovation culture inside the company. Our goal is to have a team that will actually will take out that fear of failure, which will take advantage of synergies consistently, that will have tons of resilience on their projects, and most important of all, to have a good rhythm. Being a traditional company and a traditional business model that's been in the market for a long time, we need to understand that rhythm is key. We cannot be pushing projects of innovation that go extremely fast all the way up and they crash, and we cannot lose the rhythm to keep on a constant innovation. So rhythm is key. And on the contrary to their perspectives, we believe that having a culture of innovation in the company is what will actually end up developing different projects that will have an impact on the business, right? Instead of focusing on creating these projects specifically and then measuring the impact of the business, technology is changing so fast right now. We started talking about ML some years ago, then it switched to AI, now it's Gen AI, now it's agents, and I have no idea what's coming in the future. But the only thing we have for certain is that it's changing way faster than we can imagine. So the key for this, and I learned this through one of the Dataiku events about a year ago, it's that we need to be able to adapt quickly. How can we switch to adopt new technologies as fast as we can? How agile can we be in a company like ours to be able to impact the business in a positive way, right? And this will complete our innovation journey. And everything we do, again, is to create these special moments for you to enjoy one of the products. Now, Dataiku has been a great partner for us through this innovation journey because we've managed to kind of democratize artificial intelligence inside the company. It's amazing how you can take advantage of all the know-how and expertise and experience from our seasoned employees once you give them the right tools to process data, to understand data, to develop projects, models, machine learning models, AI models through easy platforms like Dataiku and be able to take the most out of the data they already have in their careers. So I'll invite you to join for more. It's been a pleasure talking to you a little bit more about Bepensa. And hopefully someone gets inspired in able to have these cultural changes in big companies like ours and have a successful business. Thank you very much.